Sorry. Good afternoon. Hi, Asim. Uh, yeah, okay. Let me start the class. I think the last class was functions. 1 second. Last class was about the functions. I think we discussed about the functions and how we use the functions and what are the key notes I have given. Right, I have given with examples also. Let me share my Eclipse screen. 1 second. Yeah. I think on that day we discussed about how we use keywords and return types with parameters, all these things, right? Now today we will discuss one small example on that. Same like how like we just create like previously we created the calculator programs and everything, right? So just like that, how we use up functions in our calculator program itself. Okay, so let's do that and see. Let one example for a calculator, and after that we will discuss. I think I will start the arrays class in the today or tomorrow class. Okay, what are the arrays and what type of arrays we have, collections, and where we use, and what are the futures, uh, types of arrays like one-dimensional or multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, we will discuss that in the tomorrow or in the end of this class. First we will uh, try to create one a calculator program. In the previous like we use the loop statements and operators. So from the beginning we are creating the same calculator. So we use multiple topics to create the operator like a calculator. So now we use the functions. Okay, like a basic functions and if else condition with the use of if else conditions and scanner. So return types. Okay, we will now create one like a calculator. Okay, let me second. Yeah. I think let me create one new class here for functions, right? New class example function. Okay, and with functions, and I'm selecting public static void main. Finish. Now the same calculator which we have done, see in the example also. In the here we what we done, we did with no, I think here example function create calculator. Here we use on that day conditionals. Yeah, this is not the calculator program. I think, yeah. See here we done with operators and while loop. So okay, so same just like this, but in the case here we directly done the addition and subtraction and multiplication. But now here we will call the function. Okay, whatever to get the result of the two numbers like add. So that call here will make that call in this section. Okay, in this block of code. So now we go to our main example function, like here exam functions. Now let me import first. Okay, let me import first scanner. Import java.util.scanner. Now okay, now we have imported scanner class. What we have to do now, we have to create an object. Okay, we have to create an object for that. new scanner system.in. Okay, system.in, and for whatever the choice they are using, so that I am using one character. Okay, and let me name it as a choice. And same as for that day, we use a do while loop, right? So for at least once, to get it at least once. Now, 1 second, let me write it this way. Yeah, at least once this code will runs now in the do, and here we will write the do while condition, and that condition has to be choice. We are saying where if he choose y, like a small y or capital Y, choice equals to capital Y. Okay, if we choose, okay, if you choose yes, then it will. Now here we are given the condition. If we chosen y, then he will, like, we will say, do you want to continue, yes or no? If we choose yes, then again it will run. Okay, this condition is satisfied if we select the y. Okay, if we select n, then means it will come out of that loop. So now in the do, first we will welcome him with one message like a calculator menu or calculators some dot print ln of like slash n from the new line. Calculator menu. Okay, now system dot print ln first as add new line, and for the two as a subtract. Let me give the space here. One dot add, one dot subtract, slash n, three dot multi. Okay, multiply slash n, four dot divide, and fifth we will take as slash n5 dot exit. Okay, slash n exit. Now we will say system dot out dot print. Okay, system dot out dot print as, say, choose an option. Okay, we'll ask him to choose an option. So whatever the option he is choosing, like numbers, we are giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So here that option has to be stored in this option. Okay, int option with this scanner object. Whatever we have created object for the scanner class, right, to take the inputs from the user in the keyword using through the console. So with that object, I am going to take that input. Okay, based on his input, the option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 options here. So now here, by using the if condition, I am using that if option is greater than or equals to 1 and option is less than or equals to 4, then only it has to enter into this if loop. Okay, then only it has to enter into this loop, because here whatever the operators we are using, it is in between 1 to 4, which has to be equal to 4, or which is actually equal to 1, or greater than 1, or less than 4. Okay, when you want to perform an operator in this calculator, you need to enter either 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if the option is more than, like here again we are using one more condition as if option is equals to 5. Okay, the option is equals to 5. What it means, it is selecting to exit from the calculator. So here I am using system dot out dot print ln of exiting. Let me write like exact exiting. Okay, now after that what we need to do, we need to use the break loop, because we are in the loop statement. Okay, do while, so we need to use the break to come out of that loop. Okay, now if we didn't select even option number 5, so what we need to write, we need to give him like, you have chosen wrong, like invalid twice. Okay, system out dot println invalid twice. Okay, after everything, okay, after performing everything, now what if he selected any operator and he done that operator and we given the result to the user, and after that finally we need to print it out for the user if you want to repeat the task or not. Like if you want to repeat the menu, like if you want to add or subtract, if you want to perform any operations, so here we can give it as, do you want do you want to continue. Okay, in the bracket let me give it as small y slash small n. Okay, and this, when he enters any choice, so that choice has to be stored in this choice character. Okay, so we have taken the variable choice, right? Choice equals to in dot next, that is as a character, and to trim the everything I am using character it and 0th index. Okay, save it. Understand, right? First, I have imported the scanner class to take the input from the user. Okay, to take the input from the user. One second. Yeah. Now after that, I have created one object. Okay, created object and create one, initialize one variable known as a choice to take the choice of the user whether he want to continue this loop or not, whether he want to calculate or whether he want to use any operators. So based on his input, whatever, if we want to continue, if we entered y, okay, then it will again restart the entire program. If we enter other than y, so it will doesn't satisfy the condition in the while loop, okay, the condition will get false, so then it will come out of the loop. Now here if he enters option between 1 to 4, okay, if he enters option number 1 to 4, now we will ask him to enter the numbers like system dot out dot print ln of, like enter the, or you can say as enter first number. Okay, enter first number, whatever the number he has entered, that has to be stored in the num value, num equals to 1, by using the scanner object. So this is an integer value, so I am using next 10. After that, what we need to do again, we need to collect the second number, so we need to ask him to enter the second number. So this has to be num2, by using scanner object again we need to collect that value. Okay, now after he given the inputs, okay, semicolon is important. After he given the input, okay, he also selected the option and he also given the numbers. Now what we have to do is switch, and what is the expression he has selected? Okay, the expression is selected, whatever the option he has selected, that has to be come into this loop, and here we need to use the cases. And if we select the first option, okay, what it means? Add. Okay, so then in this case, what we need to do? We need to call the add of add function. Okay, we need to call the add function. So whatever the result is there, we need to print out to the user. So here we didn't created any functions. Okay, here still we didn't created any functions. So what we need to do? We need to first create the functions. Okay, first we need to create the addition function. Okay, addition function. Already explained about the static keyword, right? Static. Why we use the static? Static keyword means without creating an object of the class, we can call that method. Okay, we can call that method. And the return type, what is a return? What actually the value of this function returning? Okay, what is a actual function returning data type? So that has to be int and add. So here we need to pass the parameters, which has to be data type of integer a, comma, integer b. Okay, these values has to be passed through these parameters. Inside this function, what we need to do? We need to return. Okay, we need to return what is a function name addition. So what we need to do? We need to sum of these two numbers, and then we need to return that a plus b. So I am returning a plus b. This is a basic function for an addition. Okay, so now we have created the addition function. So here we can call that function. Here we can call that function, and here I'm taking one integer value as a result. Okay, integer result equals to, he has selected the option as a addition, so that one has to be addition. So here what I need to call? I need to call that method add. Okay, add. What values we need to add? He has given the two values, right? Num1 and num2. So in that method, we need to pass the parameters. One is num1 and another one is num2. Okay, so now this is, here we are calling that function. Which function? We are calling this add function. Here it requires two parameters. Here it requires two parameters. One is integer a and one is integer b. So basically here we need to pass the integer values. Okay, so here we are passing num1 and num2. Okay, when we call this, it will return the result. It will result the a plus b, which is nothing but the result. So in the integer result, okay, in the integer result we have the value, or you can directly concatenate this by using system dot out dot print ln of, okay, print ln of like this. You can say in the concatenate this, the result is, okay. So just you are concatenating this value, whatever the result value, you are just printing out in the console. Result is, okay, you can say as result of two numbers. Okay, or you can say as sum of two numbers. This is for the case one. If we, if the, if this block performs that, okay, if we select the case one, it will enter into this block and it will print out the result, and we need to use a break, okay, to terminate entire loop. Okay, whatever we are in the switch, right? So we need to come out of this switch loop, switch statement. So we are using break. And if we didn't select the case one, like if we didn't select the addition, so here he will select the case number 2. Okay, he has selected 2. So what is the second case? The second case has to be subtract. So here what we need to call? We need to call the sub function, but we didn't create a sub function. So now here we need to create the subtract function, which is same as addition itself. Okay, which is same as addition. Subtract function, subtract function. So same static int. Here I am using sub integer a and integer b. Okay, integer a and integer b. Both what has to be written? It has to return the difference between the two values. So a minus b. So here when you call the subtraction of two numbers, when you call this method sub num1 and num2, it will call this sub method and it will pass the parameters into a and b. Okay, whatever the num1 value, it will pass into a and num2 value into the b, and then it perform the logic of the subtraction and it will return the result. So that result will be printed in the output. So after printing out, we are using a break to terminate that switch statement. Again, when 3, okay, in the case of 3, same we need to call the multiplication method. Okay, multiplication. So multiplication of two numbers, and here we need to call the multiply. Okay, multiply of two numbers, but we didn't created that function. So here now we need to create the function. Okay, here we need to create one function name as a multiply. Okay, multiply function. Okay, same, it will result in the integer. So I am using multiply and the return type as an integer, and here we need to perform a into b. So it has to result in the a into b. And for the same case 4 we use break, break, and what is the fourth condition? The fourth condition is the division. Okay, division of two numbers, and here we call the division of two numbers, num1 and num2. Here in the division case, we need to see, it might be result what actually the division will give you. The division will give you the quotient, so it might be in the decimal values. So what return type we has to take? The return type we can take as a float, or you can take as a double. Double will carry the more decimal values. So if you want to store more decimal values, you can use a double. So same static, okay, static, and I'm using the double return type and division of integer a comma integer b. Okay, but in the division where the denominator, which is nothing but the num2 value, which is not equals to 0, we have to check whether the b value is equal to 0 or it is not equals to 0. If it is equals to 0, we can't, okay, if it is equal to 0, we cannot divide a number by the 0. So we need to just return the value as a 0. So here we need to check another condition. If b is not equals to 0, if b is not equals to 0, then only we can do return. Okay, return like what? Yeah, we can use the double here, double of a slash b. Okay, whatever the output, it has to be in the double integer a and b. Why here we are taking, yes, next. Here in the else part, if it is equals to 0, we need to print out to the user as system.out.println. Okay, we need to say as cannot divide by cannot divide by 0, and we means we are return 0. Okay, hence we are returning 0. So now what it will check the number 2 is equal to 0 or not. If it is not equal to 0, then it will return the division of the a by b. See here why I use double means here we are taking the integer values, so I am just passing that integer into the double values. That's it. And here it will give the result. Okay, now I think we covered all the conditions, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and a fifth condition for exiting. Okay, now just let me run this program once. Run on server, sorry, run Java application, run as Java application. See the output here. Calculator menu, it asking me whether add, subtract, multiply, divide, exact. I'm choosing the option for 3 and click on enter the first number as 21, second number as a 21, the multiplication of two numbers is 441. Again it asking me whether do you want to continue or no. Yes, I will give the y choice, and it will again repeat the menu, calculator menu, add, subtract, divide, and I will select one, choose the option 4. I will select 43 and I will enter the 0 value. Now it will give me the 0 because cannot divide by the 0. And again it asks the option to me whether do you want to continue or not, and selecting the n, so it will exit out of the loop. Okay, it will exit out of this loop. So this is how we can call the functions. Okay, from so based on our requirement, so function definitions and calling, okay, parameters, and what are the parameters we are using, and what are the return types of that parameters. Okay, and we use the switch statements also. Okay, we will now I think this example is enough for today's class. Now I will go with, let me share my is my screen once. Yeah, where is this? Yeah, here. Today now we will discuss about the arrays, then discuss about the arrays. Okay, what is an array in the Java? uh, Array is nothing but like it's a collection of the elements. Why I actually why do we need arrays? First, like if it is simple, when we had to store just 5 integer numbers. Okay, like if this is a collection elements, so it is easy to store the 5 integer numbers. But now let assume we have to store 5,000 integer numbers. Okay, 5,000 integer numbers, so it is not possible to use 500 variables. Okay, so to handle like these situations in almost all the programming languages, we have the concept like arrays. In the every Java or any other programming languages, we have a concept of an array. Array is a data structure used to store the collection of the data. Okay, whatever the data you have, that data in the groups, like to store the collection of the data, we use the arrays. Okay, and the syntax of an array, like let me write down here. Array is a data array is a data structure, basically data structure used to store a collections of data. Okay, and let me give like you understand, right? It's a data structure is nothing but a collection of elements or collection of data in a single variable, not in the multiple variables, but single variable. Instead of declaring separate variables for each value, we will store the multiple values. Like, see example, if I want to store the value 1, okay, so integer a equals to 5. Okay, now again, if I store another value, integer c equals to 4. If I need to store another value, I need to create one more variable, and that has to be stored in that variable. Okay, here we are using multiple variables to store the data. Okay, but here instead of declaring separate variables for each value, we can collect the all the elements and store it in the single variables. Okay, so arrays stores multiple values of the same data types. Whatever the data types we have, that same data types values will be stored in the arrays. Now let me give the syntax here so you can get a better example. Syntax: first, whatever the data type of that array you are using, that data type has to be entered here by using two square brackets, and the variable name, whatever the variable name you want to give for your array, so that variable name equals to new keyword, and the data type, and you can give the size. Okay, you can give the size and semicolon. Now example, here let me give one example. We want to store roll numbers. Just assume as we want to store the roll numbers. Okay, we want to store the roll numbers like roll number 51, 82, 13, 15, 16, from 5 to some 100 of numbers. Okay, so that row numbers will be in the integer data type. Okay, that row numbers will be integer data type. So here what I need to do to create an array, first you need to select the data type. So I am selecting the data type, and to represent the data type, okay, whatever this it has stored, okay, we need to give that data type. And to represent the array, we need to give the two square brackets, so which basically represents it is an array. So here roll numbers as a variable name, my variable name, what is the data we are storing in that array, I'm just giving that name. Okay, roll number. Now using the new keyword and integer, okay, integer, the data types and the size of the array. I want to store only 6 roll numbers in my array. In my array, you can create like this. Okay, you can create like this, or you can, we have another method, same integer array roll number. Okay, integer array roll number equals to, in the flower bracket you can directly give the numbers 43, 54, 67, 87, 98. Okay, you can give the direct base. Here in this case it stores only 5 roll numbers. It will represent the data type of the data stored in the array. But in this, all the data types in the arrays should be same. Okay, the all the data types, okay, whatever the data it has, the data type of that values, it has to be, array should be same. Okay, so now here we are declaring the array. So roll numbers are getting defined in the stack memory or in the heap memory, initializing here the actual memory. So it is we are giving integer 5, which means initializing the array. Like actual memory, it will allocate that happens here. Okay, object is created. When this object is created, here we are using the new to create an object. Okay, new keyword, so that will create an memory in the heap. Okay, in our heap memory, it will create when the object is created. Now Here we created and we have, okay, let me give one example here, like indexing of an arrays. Okay, like index of an array, how it actually stores and what the values we use, like see it given. Okay, let me create so here 3. Okay, I'm just entering whole numbers here, 3 and 8, 9, 10. Okay, 53, 33 and 21. Okay, because I have given 0. So the index of this 3 number, okay, whatever the 3 number we have, the index will start from 0. Okay, the index will start from 0. The index of the 8th value in the 1. The ninth will be in the 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4, 5, 53 value in the at the index of 53. Now I think we have more numbers here. This is in 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think let me give it this here, yeah. And you can just, yeah. Now see. So then here you can use the 21. At the 6th index, we have the 26 value. Now, when you want to change the values of the contains index, you can change it by using the array. Okay, whatever the index you are using, like see here, the array of 0th index, the actual value at the 0th index of the array, what we have the 3. Okay, we have the 3. So you can get the value by using the indexing. You can get the value of by using indexing. If the array at 4 means the value will be 53. The value will be 53. So this is how actually the we create an array to represent the what data type. We use an data type and the array square brackets and how. So now we have the types of arrays here. We have types of arrays, which is one dimensional. Types of array we have, which is nothing but one dimensional and multi-dimensional array. One comma, sorry, one dimensional, array. And second one as multi-dimensional. Okay, one dimensional array. Now just for today's class, I think we will focus on the 1D arrays. Okay, one dimensional arrays. And now, yeah, here we have right one dimensional. Okay, let me write it here. One dimensional arrays. Now, what is actually one dimensional array means? A one dimensional array is a collection of the elements, like a linear collection of the elements, where all the elements are the same data type and stored in the memory locations. Like see, the best example, like a row of boxes. where each box holds a value and each has a label, okay, calling the index starting from the zero. So why we to store the multiple values, the single name. That is a basic basic objective of to use the arrays. And more like when we use this arrays, our programs are more manageable and efficient with the dealing the large data. When we are creating the large data, we use that one dimensional array, and this is the best example for the one dimensional array. Now simply we use data type name and variable name. Okay, you can just create here with this, or you can just give the like this integer row number and array, okay, equals to new data type as an integer, and you can give the size here. Okay, this is also you in the both cases you can create the arrays. And the declaration means declaration is nothing but when you are declaring the array of a what size. Here we are using the 6 integers. Okay, array of a 6 integers, and the direct, this is a direct initialization without giving any size. You're just giving the numbers of how many values you want to store in that number variables. Okay, now first for basic example, let me create one program here. Okay, uh, just let me create one new package itself. So like mm, ATP, sorry, finish. Now under this, I'm creating one class. I'm starting as array one dimensional example. Okay, so I'm just selecting a public static void main. How we need to create one variable and how to store the values in that array. Okay, let me show like a basic array declaration and how we can access that values. Okay, so for that, see, I'm first what I need to do. I need to initialize the okay. I need to initialize the array with the data type. Okay, with the data type, and I'm giving the roll numbers. Okay, roll numbers equals to new integer, and I'm not giving the directly. I'm not giving any direct initialization. Okay, direct initialization is nothing but directly we are giving the values without using the new keyword and the data type. But here instead of that, I'm giving the size of that array. Here I'm giving the size of that array. So here, how can we store the roll numbers of 6 in that? Okay, how can we store that in that? So now uh, this is a okay, this is a variable name, that is an array. Roll numbers, okay, as I said in the square brackets, at the zero, the array will be start from the 0th index. At the 0th index, I want to store the roll number of 10. Okay, I want to store the roll number of 10. So same, just like this, by using the index of that an array, we can give the values, or we can store the values of this roll numbers. Okay, so till, let me see here, I am giving third index 10 value, and at the fifth index I am take a 21, and here I will take the 91. At the second index I want to store the 11, and at the fourth index, okay, at the fourth index I will go to 9. Here 1 2 3 0 1 2 3 4 5 means which is size of 6. Okay, 6 variables. Because it is starting from 0, so we need to end it at the 5. Okay, we need end it at 5. Now we have stored all the numbers. Okay, whatever the data we want to store, you are giving that data by using the index. Okay, index. Now if you want to like we are storing the numbers like just imagine array as a boxes, and we are sending value to the each box. Okay, we are sending the value to the each box by using the indexes. Okay, by using the indexes. Now here system, we want to, if you want to print the values of that array, like system dot out dot print ln, and just simply give the roll number. Let me see. We will check what will happen. Okay, roll numbers. Now see, we'll run this. Run as Java application. See, it's giving me the object of that class, but it's not giving you the numbers. But it's not giving you the numbers. It is giving you the object of that class. So how we can print it out each value of that means by using the index of that number. So I like to continuous loop. I'm using the for loop. Okay, to loop it through the each and every index of the array. So I am just initializing one integer I equal to 0 because the array index will be start from 0. So I want to print the from 0 to 5th. Okay, I want to print out from the 0th index what is the value storing till the 5th index. Okay, so here what is the condition I need to keep? I need to give the condition as I less than, okay, I less than whatever the array we have, row numbers, till the row numbers length is less than I, less than I, less than I, we need to perform this loop. Okay, we need to perform this loop. So this is a condition, right? In the for loop, this is an initialization, this is condition, and in the last what we need to do, we need to increment, like we need to update the value or decrement the value, but initially it is a 0, so here we need to increment the value. Okay, I am incrementing for every loop by the 1. Now the condition, see, till the row numbers length, okay, whatever the length of the array we have, till that length we need to loop, we need to loop out this array. Now, inside the loop, okay, inside the loop, here what we need to do is element at the index, whatever the index we are at, okay, we are at means in the I is nothing but the index, right? Because we are taking initial is 0. Okay, it is 0th element at the index of I, element of index of the I. Let me give the semicolon here. It's better representation of the numbers. What are the numbers? So here numbers, sorry, here instead of numbers, what we have the array name as the roll number at ith index. Whatever the value is stored in the ith index, which is nothing but 0, 0th index, that value will be printed line by line now. Okay, we will see that by just running this program, run as Java application. See, initially is just giving that object. Here we will say as elements of the array. Okay, now let me rerun this again. Java application. Okay, see here. Okay, at the index 0, 10, 15, 11, 19, 9, 25. See at the 4th index we have say save the 9th value, 21. Okay, the values are stored in the exact values where we have given the positions. Okay, so this is about the basic array declarations and accessing the arrays. Okay, and tomorrow we will discuss about like some of an array elements, like how we can perform an operations with an arrays. Okay, and how we can like find the maximum of a two numbers when you have used a direct initialization of an array. How we can find the maximum of the number by using index, we can find all those things. Okay, just practice more. Okay, let me stop sharing now. I think this is for today's class. If you have any doubts regarding anything, whoever listening or who are just taking this class after the class in the YouTube or anywhere, if you have any doubts, you can ask me or you can ping me. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Asim.